and many other groups, and he intends to continue that. In fact, on his way to Liberia recently, when he had come from the US, he met with Alexander Coons, former political leader of the ANC. They both rode the same aircraft to come to Liberia, and they exchanged pleasantry. And he also assured him that there will be a need for them to have a meeting. So
It's a pleasant. Welcome to the program in South Liberia on Kia Radio 95.9. And of course, we are glad that you have joined us. It's on a Tuesday in the nation's capital, Monrovia. We've come to do the things we love doing. The work will never end. And we'll continue to do it until the day God snatches the life out of us. So we will continue to do everything humanly possible. So it's good to be here. What a great afternoon it is. What a great day it is. And we are grateful to be here. My name is Morris Desmond Brown. And I'm in your company until 6 this evening. We'll do all of the unpacking of the news for you. All of the issues that are happening in Liberia. We'll unpack them 2-minute takeaways. 2-minute takeaways right on this radio. Kia Radio 95.9. And it promises to be great as we go along. There are a lot to talk about, a lot of takeaways. And I just want you to invite a friend, and that friend can tell another friend. And of course, we can talk about Liberia in a very positive way. And I am your humble presenter. My name is Morris Desmond, but of course, we'll go on like this until 6 p.m. this evening. We've got a lot to talk about. Our country is at a crossroads. A lot to talk about, a lot to really talk about right here. And the best you can find right now is Kia Radio 95.9. Yeah, so we'll take a tour around the world. Get bits and pieces of news for you. When we return, we'll talk about the Kia Humanitarian Foundation. And after which, of course, we will definitely transition into politics, talking all of the issues that matter, all of the issues that really, really do matter to our country, Liberia. So wherever you are, if you're in District number 1 up to District 17, Maserado, welcome. If you're in Bapulu County, if you're in Magibi, or maybe you're in Grand Bassa, you're in Bombing, Cape Mount, wherever you are and you are getting us loud on your radio, we are also live on YouTube. So those of you who want to watch the show via the internet, you can just go to YouTube and put in Kia Network, and we will pop up right on your screen. You will see us. Yeah, just go to YouTube and put Kia Network. Yeah, for the next 2 hours, we'll be here to unpack the issues. So yeah, we're gonna do that without fear nor favor. This station owes loyalty to no political institution. We are a group of independent people, and aside from that, the station is owned by an NGO. So we are in the line of the Liberian people. At this juncture, we will just go over and take bits and pieces of news for you from around the world. When we come back, folks, we'll talk about the Care Humanitarian Foundation. And then after which, we will then transition into talking politics, all of the issues that matter. So this is where we go next. Let's see it here. Yeah, this is where we go next. Yeah, this is where we go next. Getting you random pieces of news right on this radio. Kia Radio 95.9. Let us explore the world. The latest war news. Then we will transition later on, come back to Africa. Trying to get the news for you, those of you who are very interested in all of the news right here. We're going to do our best. Let's see what's happening in Syria. The war in Syria is getting very serious. Further showing signs of torture found at Damascus hospital, Syrian rebels say. Syrian rebel fighters say they have found around 40 bodies showing signs of torture in the mortuary of a military hospital in the suburb of Damascus following the overthrow of President al-Assad. Video and photos show bodies wrapped in blood-stained watch-shorts spilled up inside a refrigerated room at Harastar Hospital on Monday. Several bodies of people appear to have wounds and bruises on their faces and torso. Pieces of evasive type bearing number and name were also visible. I opened the door of the mortuary with my own hands. It was a horrifying moment. Mohammed Al-Haji, a member of the rebel group from southern Syria, told AFP News Agency. He said the rebel has gone to the hospital after receiving tips from a member of staff that the bodies have been dumped there. We informed the rebel military commander of what we found and coordinated with the Syrian Red Crescent. We transported the bodies to Damascus Hospital so the families can come and identify them. It was not clear how long the bodies had been stored at the mortuary, but they were at various stages of decomposition. Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, a UK-based monitoring group, say almost 60,000 people were tortured and killed in the Al-Assad government's prison. Human rights groups say more than 100,000 people have disappeared since Al-Assad ordered a brutal crackdown on pro-democratic protests in 2011 that triggered the civil war. Harasta Hospital served as the main center for collecting the bodies of detainees. A co-founder of the Association of Detainees and Missing in Sadaya prison told AFP News bodies will be sent there for Sadaya prison or Twinsha Hospital from Harasta. They be found and transferred to mass graves, he added. The discovery of the body came as the Syrian civil defense, who rescue workers at what they know as the White Hammets, announced that they had concluded a search operation for possible detainees in secret halls or basements at prison facilities. Still looking for the news. Let's go to Haiti and see what's happening in Haiti. The BBC is reporting that Haiti gang killed 111 people accused of witchcraft. At least 110 almost elderly people have been brutally murdered by gang members in the Haitian capital Port-au-Prince, according to a human rights group. The National Human Rights Defense Network, RNDDH, said a local gang leader had targeted them after his son fell ill and subsequently died. The gang leader reportedly consulted a voodoo priest who blamed elderly locals practicing witchcraft for the boy's mysterious illness. The United Nations said the number of people killed in Haiti so far this year in struggling gang violence had reached a staggering number of 5,000. Warning. While details from the massacre are still emerging, the UN Human Rights Chief Volker Turk on Monday put the number of people killed over the weekend in violence orchestrated by the leader of a powerful gang at 184. The killings happened in the city of Sully, neighboring of the capital. According to the report, gang members seized scores of residents aged over 60 from their homes in the Raf Jamar area, rounded them up, and then shot or stabbed them to death with knives and machineries. Residents reported seeing mutilated bodies being buried in the streets. This is so horrible. What is happening in Haiti is so horrible. So horrible. RNDDH estimated 60 were killed on Friday, while another 50 were killed up and murdered on Saturday, after the gang leader's son had died of his illness. While RDDN said that all the victims were over 60, another rights group said some young people who had trying to protect the elderly had also been killed. Local media said the elderly people believed to be practitioners of voodoo had been singled out because the gang leader had been told his son's illness had been caused by them. Radku said the man who had entered and ordered the killing was Molière Felix, also known as Mekano, known to control a strategic area in the port of the capital. According to Romania, Guy Mason, a Haiti expert at the Global Initiative Against Transitional Crime, the area is small but hard for the security forces to penetrate. Local media said the residents have been prevented from leaving their areas, so news of the deadly killing was slow to spread. I mean, to just kill people randomly, this is really terrible. Haiti has been engulfed with a wave of gang violence since the assassination in 2021 of then President Jovenel Moïse. On the 3rd of October, 115 locals were killed in the small town of Ponsandi in the Antibiotic Department. That massacre was reportedly carried out by the gang group in retaliation for some residents joining a vigilant group to resist attempt by gang group to extort locals. Then to just see people, just kill them, you know. I don't get it. I don't wrap my head around this. Still looking for it. Let's come to Africa. And let's go right here to Ghana and see what's happening there. Victorious John Mahama promises new beginning for Ghana. Ghana's opposition candidate and former President John Mahama has promised a new beginning and a new direction for the country after being officially declared the winner of Saturday's presidential elections. Mahama won with 56.6% against 41.6% for Vice President Mahamadou Bawumia. It is the biggest margin of victory in the country for 24 years. Yeah, when you do well and you leave the seat, the people miss you, they'll elect you back. Vote turnout was around 60.9%, said the head of Ghana's Electoral Commission, G. Menza. Mahama said he felt humbled that he and his National Democratic Congress, the NDC, had struck one of the best results in the electoral history of Ghana. He also noted that Ghana had made history by choosing its first female vice president, Jean Nana Opoku Ayimeng, and he thanked Bawumia for conceding, which he did long before the official announcement of the results. The vice president said he was doing so to avoid further tensions and preserve the peace of the country. Nevertheless, there was still some frustration that it took so long to announce the official results. President Nana Akufo-Addo is stepping down after reaching the official limit of 2 terms in office. The former president set to lead Ghana once more. Ghana becomes recorded 5th African nation to see opposition victory this year. This election comes amid the worst economic crisis in a generation. Unemployment, the cost of living, and concerns over the environmental impact of illegal gold mining, known as clemency, were amongst the key issues. While many Ghanaians are desperate for a change, Mahama won several regions including Bono, Ahafo, Western and Central, which the governing New Patriotic Party, the NPP, had won in 2020. That's why we want peace in Africa. If the people miss you and you serve them well, they can re-elect you. Stay getting it for you. Getting deeper into Africa. See whether we can get some very, very intriguing stories for you right here. Let's go to Egypt. There is something happening in Egypt that is very, very devastating. At least 8 killed in a building collapse in Cairo, the capital of Egypt. An apartment building collapsed on Tuesday in Egypt capital, killing at least 8 people, authorities have said. The health ministry said in a statement that the collapse of the 6-story building in Cairo's western neighborhood of Wili also injured 3 people who were hospitalized. Cairo Governor Ibrahim Saba ordered the evacuation of neighboring houses as a precautionary measure, according to a statement from the governor's office. It wasn't immediately clear what caused the building's collapse, which were constructed in the 1960s. The governor's office said that prosecutors were investigating. Building collapse are common in Egypt, where shoddy construction and a lack of maintenance are widespread in Stenstown, post-cities, neighborhoods, and rural areas. The government has tried to crack down on illegal buildings in recent years after decades of tax enforcement. Authorities are also building a new city and neighborhoods to rehouse those living in at-risk areas. But many Egyptian cities also contain entire neighborhoods of unlicensed apartment buildings and shelter towns that don't follow building codes and regulations. Our hearts are with the people of Egypt. Our hearts are really with the people of Egypt. Let's see what's happening in the Democratic Republic of Congo. That could be our final story here. And we'll come back to talk about the issues that matter. UN warned of escalating insecurity in the DRC. The DRC is the Democratic Republic of Congo. UN Special Representative in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the DRC, Bintou Keita, reported political tensions around calls to revise the constitution and the continual and escalating insecurity in North Kivu and Atiri, especially related to the activities of ADF, M23, Kodiko, and Zari. Addressing the Security Council today, December, Keita said the M23, a non-signatory of the ceasefire agreement, has consolidated citizens and military occupation in North Kivu. Today, it controls vast area in the territories of Masasa and other big cities. A space twice as large as what occupied in 2012. The Allied Democratic Forces, the ADF, remain the deadliest armed group with hundreds of civilians killed in recent months. She also said the prevailing security environment continues to exacerbate the humanitarian situation, further intensified by ever-growing climate change and challenges. According to OCHA, almost 6.4 million people are currently displaced due to armed conflict and natural hazards. Multiple epidemics have also aggravated the humanitarian situation. On the reward of the United Nations Organization Stability Mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo, situations are continually getting worse in the Democratic Republic of Congo. But folks, we have to come home, and this is where we come home and talk about the issues that really do matter to our country, Liberia. Welcome, folks, and it's a pleasure to have you, all of us, as we talk about country Liberia and how we can navigate and talk about those issues that really affect our country in a positive and negative ways. But before we do that, we'll talk about the Care Humanitarian Foundation, a foundation meant to mend the broken pieces of our people in Liberia, meant to help the needed, meant to keep Liberia's humanitarian gesture on path. So the Care Humanitarian Foundation is a non-for-profit. It's a non-for-profit organization and a foundation that continues to provide humanitarian services for our people. We are very much concerned about humanitarian services to our people, and we know exactly that the Kia Humanitarian Foundation is keen on humanitarian services for our people. Now, let's look at the pillars. Let's look at the pillars that actually bounds the Kia Humanitarian Foundation together. Every organization, every group that ceases to exist will have pillars on which that organization tracks. They will have pillars on which that organization survives. And the survivability of the Kia Humanitarian Foundation is single-handedly being funded by a humanitarian. A man, I believe, has the heart for the people, and he has been very, very keen on providing these services unhindered. He has continuously shown his willingness. He and his darling wife, they've been able to put in the resources, and they've been able to try to help Liberians conquer the issue of poverty. I know to eradicate or totally eradicate poverty is not it's not an event, it is a process. And we are very keen on what this foundation is providing for the Liberian people. And to be very honest with you, I've seen several foundations, several NGOs, several humanitarian groupings, and I see them say they're providing or they are providing services for our people. But what I've seen over the years, what I've seen is that most of what they provide is tokenistic. Most of what they provide for our people is tokenistic. Now, talking about being tokenistic is like you just giving a token. You're just giving a token, and it is not meant to keep you up. But this foundation called the Kia Humanitarian Foundation is very keen on providing different services. In time to come, we have the skill training program that falls directly under the educational pillar. And that skill training program will be for our women, it will be for our mothers, it will be for our sisters who need this kind of skill training to be able to have livelihood. And so in the future, from what I've learned from the pillars that holds the NGO together, the Kia Humanitarian Foundation, it shows an indicator of education. And for education to be permanent in what we do, we must educate women. And it's part of the pillars of empowerment that could show women, our mothers, a teeny skill training that could help them better their lives as they help their husbands to take care of the home. So we know the issue of different things that could help our mothers will be inculcated into what the Kia Humanitarian Foundation envisioned. And with the support of seeing the country move forward, Liberia cannot move forward if youth empowerment is not a priority. The last time I checked, when I was talking to the CEO, he told me there is this plan to have our young people empowered. How do we empower our young people? We empower them through skills building, through knowledge gaining, that they can gain knowledge through computer literacy programs. We can have computer training where our young people can enroll. They can have different trainings in computer, whether it is hardware, whether it is for a different programming software and other stuff. They can attain that education and they can be able to give back to society. Some of them could open their cafe, some of them could open their business areas, and they can still be a blessing to their families. The youth are the pillars. They are the nucleus of every country. And if there should be a growing population, a population very productive, a population that will be very productive in different areas and different spectrum of our society. We must be able to empower youth. And the empowerment of youth is really very critical to the growth of the country. Is the Care Humanitarian Foundation looking in that direction? Yes. That is under the pillar of education. I don't know what is this thing doing at this. The background is too noisy. George, you have to come in quickly. My producer. I don't know what is the problem. I'm hearing too much feedback. I'm really hearing too much feedback. So, youth empowerment is a must. It is a must. And we cannot negate the fact that empowering youth is a win-win situation for our country. It's a win-win for our country. And so the Care Humanitarian Foundation is keen also on youth empowerment. George, you are urgently needed, please. George, if you're there, please come in, please. I don't know what this thing, Mr. Menza, or any of you, George or Mr. Menza, one of you can come, please. We can continue to do lip service with empowerment. Empowerment is part of humanitarian services. It's not just from the lips. Everything you talk about in terms of humanitarian services or empowerment should be actionable. They should be actionable, meaning they should be put into action. It's not just to talk about it. It's not just to have all of the intellectual conversations and say, let's talk. But you must be talking and put your thoughts into actions. So the Care Humanitarian Foundation is keen on education, like I've said. One of the major pillars that we've seen in all that we do is agriculture. You know, I've told people repeatedly, in time of our number, that for our country to rise beyond the horizon, for our country to move at this incredible speed in terms of the economy, we must diversify our ideas. And those ideas should now be limited or narrowed down to agriculture. If we are not doing agriculture on a large scale in order to have financial dividend, our country will continue to remain where it is. We can make all of the fine plans, we can do all of the things that we want to do. If agriculture is not being integrated into what we do, if we do not prioritize agriculture, our country will continue to remain where it is. I see every government that comes, they play lip service with agriculture. You hear them talk about agriculture, it's one of my pillars. It's part of my agenda. All of these things are fine speeches. The actualization is the problem. Nobody comes to a country where agriculture is a problem. Nobody is thinking deeper into going down to the soil to produce the things we eat. We continue to cry, things are difficult. The country is hard. The country will continue to remain hard if Liberians believe that government can solve all of our problems. We cannot go to the soil to produce the things that we eat. So the Care Humanitarian Foundation wants to break the barrier. That barrier of people sitting and idly, people sitting like a desiccated way, just lazy and playing the laissez-faire attitude to say, I will not, engage into agriculture, but you want things to happen. The Care Humanitarian Foundation is here to provide that needed expertise. That expertise you need to engage into agriculture the real way, those expertise will be given to you. If possible, if the foundation is financially stable and we are able to provide tools and monitor farms, these are things that the NGO and the foundation is very interested in. Very interested. So vast knowledge of vast sector of our country, people aren't putting all their time and energy into agriculture. And they want miracles to happen. Miracles cannot happen. Miracles cannot happen. The country cannot see miracles because miracles are not meant to happen in situations where it requires work. The Bible says, faith without work is dead. Agriculture is practical, it's pragmatic. It's not the cars, and that is why I get angry sometimes when I see the Ministry of Agriculture having all the best cars, the best fleets you can find. Very comfortable jeeps. And you don't see farms, you don't see government farms, you don't see anything. But all the agriculture ministry budget goes behind vehicles. It goes behind fleets. If not the Ministry of Health, but the next ministry that got real fleet is the Ministry of Agriculture. If not the Ministry of Health, then we'll be counting the Ministry of Agriculture. If we're not counting the Ministry of Agriculture, then we'll be counting the Ministry of Health. When it comes to fleet, forget it. You can't beat those two ministries. So we don't see what agriculture has been, whether agriculture has been prioritized in the country. Everybody just do lip service. We just talk about agriculture in passing. Agriculture should not be secondary. It should not be taken lightly. Agriculture should be primary in everything we do. If agriculture must rise, we must take very seriously agriculture. We must take very seriously agriculture. Agriculture is the bedrock. Agriculture is the medicine that revives. Agriculture is the medicine that resuscitates a broken and dying economy. It helps resuscitate. It brings back life. When a country is suffocating, and the only thing you think you can use to revive that country is agriculture. Nigeria passed through the scene around 2013, 2014. During the heat of Ebola, Nigeria invested into cassava farming. And if you check the records, they did very well. They took millions of US dollars. And they were able to benefit hugely from the investment. They just took a commodity. They just took one of the products and say, let's invest into cassava farming. What did they get? They got millions of US dollars in exchange of their work. Liberia hasn't taken even just one thing, one attempt to say, we will produce this year. We have to be very serious. We have to be very, very mindful of the way we treat our country in terms of agriculture. And so the Care Humanitarian Foundation is here to provide our expertise that will bring forth a very fruitful and a very good agriculture sector. The next component we have is the health component. There is a saying that goes that health is life, good health is life, or good health is wealth. If you do not have good health, you will not have life. You will not have wealth. Because if you're not okay to move around to find your daily bread, it will be a difficult situation for you. The Care Humanitarian Foundation got the health component. And that health component, from what I've understood from the flag bearers, support will be given. to come, there will be mobile clinics to provide health services for our people. Going in the communities, trying to triage our people, getting them to come. You triage them, get to know their sicknesses. If we can provide medication, we'll do that. That is the Care Humanitarian Foundation for you. It's very, very keen on humanitarian services. It is an apolitical organization or foundation. It is apolitical, meaning it is not engaged with politics. That is why we have the radio component of the foundation that deals directly with political issues and other different issues, because this is different and is the scope of operation for the radio is different from the Care Humanitarian Foundation. Though it is the Humanitarian Foundation that birthed the station, but the station operates differently from the foundation. So folks, the health component is very important as well. Is the Care Humanitarian Foundation seeking to help people in getting good health? Yes. Will we be giving support to clinics that do not have the capacity? I say yes to you. Several things will happen. It is the Care Humanitarian Foundation that will bring those changes to you. We have the sanitation component. You know, sanitation and health are interwoven. They are intertwined. If your environment is not perfectly perfect, if your environment is not sanitized, you find it difficult to have good health. And sanitation is not just about cleaning your environment and making the environment clean or getting the environment, very well for, habitation. No. It goes beyond. It talks about your livelihood. It talks about the way you live in the community. The kinds of water you drink. Sanitation doesn't just go, it goes along with wash. It goes along with water care treatment. Is the foundation seeking to provide services in that area? Yes. And I'll close on the Care Humanitarian Foundation like this. All of these nice things that we've talked about, it is for you that I bring people. How do you benefit from these things if you are not listening to the Care Radio 95.9? If you're not listening to Care Radio 95.9, how will you know that there is an opportunity out for you? And there is something coming up for Christmas. If you listen to the radio, you will definitely be informed. We will not let the cat out of the bag. But we want to say to you, there are things coming up. In fact, from this month all the way going forward, there are things that will come up every month. And it could benefit you. How do you benefit if you're not a regular participant, you're not a regular caller, you're not a regular listener? And just to listen. A regular listener and a regular caller. We're having our database the other day. I forget the name of my brother. He said, for me, I'm not interested in the politics. But because you talk about the foundation, I'm interested. I want to be a part of the fan base of the foundation. I want to be, glued to the radio always to listen to what the foundation will offer. You can be the same. There are people who life are tied around politics as well. You can also do what you can do. Listen to Care Radio 95.9. All of the shows. The show at 4. The morning show with Jefferson Weir. Princess Kamara. Nyata Joyous Fala. And just everyone that sits on this radio. Follow them. Listen to their shows. Participate. Call. Make your imports. Those records are taken. And we will definitely, if any opportunity comes, we'll be looking out for people who are very keen on are getting Kia Radio as a family. Listen, if you do not have the passion for something, you will not go around that thing. We are about to build the fan base. We are about to build the fan club of Kia Radio. And pretty soon, we'll be thinking of having meetings with you. But if you are not calling on the radio while shows are on, how do we know that you are part of the fan base of Kia Radio 95.9? How do we know? And that's why I said all of these nice things that I've talked about, you can only be a beneficiary if you decide to be a regular caller and you always listen and have your inputs on the radio as we talk these issues and we open the lines. We talk these issues, we open the lines. You be a part of them. You talk about it too. You give your input. You ask questions. The people say the question, the stranger that asks questions will never miss the road. So I'm appealing to all of us who are glued to the radio. It's not just to listen. If you're listening, let us know by your participation on the shows. It shows that you are listening. We will not know because this is the magic of the radio. So the way we know is when you call and participate when we open the lines. Then we know that you've been listening, you follow all of the topics, you follow what we've been talking. And when opportunity comes, which they will come, and I won't forget it, it's something that I'm telling you now, take it from me. There are many opportunities that will come through the foundation. And the foundation will be relying on us to tell them or recommend people that could be a blessing, or the foundation could be a blessing too. We could be recommending our fan base. We could be recommending people who normally participate on our shows. Scholarship. I didn't tell you about the educational scholarship we have. Your children could benefit. Who knows? The next school year, your children could be a part of it. Because when we're trying to offer scholarships now or financial aid, we'll be looking out for people who are regular callers and regular participants of the shows. Right now, we have students that we have paid for. We pay their school fees. We pay for their book bags. We bought the book bags. We bought the shoes. We bought the pencil. We bought the pen. We bought the uniforms. We bought everything they will be using for school. They are in school now. They don't owe a dime until the school year ends. We've done that. Your child or children could be a part. How do we know that you are a family? We don't need to know. We don't need you to be close to us. But when you are participating on all of the shows, it gives us concern that you are a family to Kia Radio. Lastly, before we transition to politics, our station is open for business. We are open to the business community. And because we are owned by the foundation have asked us that we should not increase the prices. So our prices are very, very, very cheap. What others do for 100, we do it here for 50. What others do for 200, we do it for 100. That's how easy it is with Kia Radio if you are subscribing with us. And even this show right now, we're looking for sponsors. We're looking for people who have businesses and want us to advertise their businesses, want us to advertise your group, your company, whatever. If you have a construction company, we can make that construction company relevant in this country if you decide to be a sponsor of the show. You got to do it. Come into business. It is in Liberia that I see people do not take advertisement seriously. I travel to African country and I saw how people take very seriously advertisement. It grows your business. It takes your business from nowhere to somewhere. People do not want to invest into publicity. Publicity is very key. So we can grow your business here. We can make your business second to none if you decide to trust us. Okay? Our offices are open for this show. If you want to sponsor, you want us to sell your products on the show while we are here, we'll take break, we'll do your adverts, we'll do your jingles, we'll cut your jingles, talk about your business in the jingle. When we're taking break, we'll play your ads. People will know about your business, they know exactly where you are situated, what are the offers, what are the things that you are giving out. And before you know it, you have gotten so much money in less than no time. That is the magic of the radio. So I thought to just pass that by you. Well, you know, folks, every time we talk about politics, by next week we will start to bring guests on the show. So we'll also give our numbers out. Those of you who have key issues and you want to be a guest on the show, we'll call our number before the end of the show and then you can take it. We can start the conversation from there. We'll be talking labor issues. We'll be talking different issues. So we'll do that. You know, yesterday I wrote on Facebook, and if some of you who are friendly with me, you will know exactly what I wrote. I wrote on Facebook and asked a question. How did we get here as a country? How did we get here as a country? It is a question that goes beyond. It is not for the opposition. It is not for the ruling party or the current government. But how did we get here as a people? How did we get here as a country? Was it intentional for our country to retrogress so badly like this? How did we get here? It's a big question, folks, and I want you, while we are talking, I want this question to linger in your mind. I want you to digest this question. How did we get here as a country? The first thing we ought to know the fight at Capitol Hill, is it a fight for the Liberian people? That's another question I want you to be answering in your mind while we are going through the conversation. Is this fight that is up Capitol Hill, is it for the ordinary people? Is it for Liberians? Or it is a fight for political control? Or it is a fight for territorial control? Or it is a fight for financial and material control? What is this fight all about? Is it a fight for the Liberian people? Folks, have you sat down by yourself and asked this question and see whether you can have an answer coming in and filtering from your mind? Liberia has been disgraced. Our country has been disgraced. And you, the ordinary people, you sit down and allow these things to happen. You are not talking. You're not moving. The only thing that settles all of these things is when the Liberian people rise up against the legislature. Folks, I am not saying this to talk about an uprising that could cause violence. If you read Article 1 of the Constitution, going downward, it tells you that the power of the country is inherent in the people. You are the custodian of the power. You are the one who possesses the power. How you use it is a problem. How you use it is a gain or a loss. You cannot be sympathetic about everything in the country as citizens. What is happening up Capitol Hill will never happen in Nigeria. What is happening up Capitol Hill will never ever happen in Ghana. What is happening up Capitol Hill will never ever happen in Guinea. What is happening in Capitol Hill or on Capitol Hill will never happen in Africa. Why won't these things happen? It's because the citizens will take the power in their hands. The citizens will use the power. What are we doing as Liberians? We're not using the power. Instead, we are pampering those who are misusing the power. We're pampering them. How did we get here as a country? How did we get here as a country? How? How did you get here as a country? Nobody sees the wrong. Everybody has a side. Everybody wants to defend their side. We are more concerned about individualism than patriotism. That is why our country keeps retrogressing. We're more concerned about political party ideologies. And we're forgetting the ideology of patriotism that we are supposed to share with the country Liberia. Everybody got their own devil that they have dressed, and they have decided to defend it. Whether the devil fall down and the devil disgrace itself, we are keen on defending that devil. Even if the devil drinks liquor and the devil is misbehaving, we are still maintaining that we will continue to praise the devil. Liberians, you need to rise up to a point where you know that it is no more politics. It should be the country. It should not be politics. Politics has been able to eat up the fabric of the country. Politics has been able to eat every fabric of the country. Nobody cares about the fortune ahead of the country. Nobody cares about the foremarch of the country. Everybody got their devil that they want to dress and they want to defend. Even if that devil is not dancing to the tune of the music, we still say the devil dancing good. How did we get here as a country? Is the fight that is happening now, is it a fight for the Liberian people? Or it is a fight for territorial control? It's a fight for financial control, financial prudence, or financial power. What is the fight about? Folks, we need to reach a stage where the Liberian people can march up Capitol Hill, and I can tell you for sure and for free, I can be a very serious organizer of a peaceful protest at Capitol Hill to end the madness that is ongoing there. What is happening at Capitol Hill? It's just madness. The Liberian people are being neglected, frustrated, and being left to themselves. A country with two speakers, that is a banana republic. No country on planet Earth got two speakers. Liberia is the only country on planet Earth that got two speakers. Nobody is getting angry. The Liberian people are so content with what is happening because everybody got political parties and they must support their political party. Even if their political party are behaving the worst, they will still support their political party and their political institutions. Then, the question of patriotism comes back to mind. Are we patriotic? Do we love this country? Do we want to see our country moving? If we want to see our country moving, Liberians they should not stand up the Supreme Court ruling their own way. Phonetic block say they win a case. Majority block say they win a case. Government, the executive branch say that the majority block will do business with. Are you kidding me? If you as a government, if the Supreme Court rules and you do not understand the ruling of the Supreme Court, you have the right to write the Supreme Court and ask for a common interpretation of their ruling. Because trust me, the Supreme Court will not speak the English that you and I speak. The Supreme Court will speak legal terms. And every party that was represented at that case had a lawyer or a counselor. They had a legal person representing them. How come the lawyers are interpreting the Supreme Court's ruling differently? The people representing the majority bloc had their representation, their legal representation. The legal representation told them, say, you win a case. The people from the Speaker's bloc also had their representation. Their own lawyer told them to, you won a case. The government, through the Ministry of Justice, the Attorney General of the country, came up and said, he is siding with the majority bloc. In his opinion, as a lawyer, as a study, he is saying that the majority bloc have won the case. Folks, how did we get here as a country? In all of this, the people are the ones suffering. I've never seen budget hearing being held behind closed doors. Budget hearing are always in open areas where at the end of the day the public is invited, people go and listen to some of the things, that the people have to proffer and all of these things. But to have budget hearing behind closed doors, I don't know. I stand to be corrected. Maybe in legislative proceeding, it can happen. That's why I say I stand to be corrected. But if we continue to sit down and allow these things to happen, what kind of people are we in this country? Standing up for the right thing should be Liberians by far the most important thing in your life right now. You got two speakers in the country. The only country that got two speakers, the Banana Republic, can have it. And Liberia. Liberia is a classic example of a banana republic. A classic example of a banana republic. Trust me, you cannot have two speakers in a country. There must be one recognized speaker. Everybody interpreting it the way they choose. Everybody interpreting the Supreme Court ruling the way they want. What is happening to Liberia? Look at the U.S. government report on the rule of law. The person our country is lawless. Even though it should not be coming from America, because they too contribute to lawlessness. Even in the great United States, they too contribute to lawlessness. And our country too is lawless though. But because we rely on these people for everything, we want peanut butter that they don't want. We want eat bread that they don't want. Everything in this country, we rely on America. So how will America not be telling you about the rule of law? We scored 0. In fact, this is our worst failure in the MCC score. This is our worst failure in transparency and accountability, or solving. Our worst. And all of these things are being taken into consideration. Ever since these things were happening, I expected that the president will extend olive branch to the two parties involved. Instead, Let me tell you something. The president of the country is the head of the country. And if the president sees that there is a problem in all of the branches, the president can call for mitigation. The president can mitigate. Our president sat down until the issue got far more deteriorating. It became a crisis as it is now. Before the president said he's trying to probe in the matter, the president said he calling the speaker then, or the current speaker, or whatever it is, he's calling him for them to have a dialogue. How did we get here? We should have had this dialogue when that thing started. When a group of people said they didn't want the speaker, we should have had that conversation, start to talk to them. And then we start to have a dialogue that our country will not reach the stage it is in. At the end of the day, where are we today? A country with two speakers. A country with two speakers. One is being recognized. The other one, people say they cannot recognize him. We cannot continue as a people to draw the attention of other countries on Liberia. Liberia should be the oldest country in Africa. The oldest independent country in Africa. And what we are doing, we are creating more problems. I think the only thing Liberia successfully did that is being talked about now is the fact that Liberia had a successful election without any, even though there were minor violence situations around, but the country is not going anywhere in terms of democracy. The democratic tenets of the country has been crushed to the ground. Democratic credential of the country has been crushed to the ground. And folks, we're still asking whether Liberia is a country that we should be proud about. This will not happen in Ghana. The way the Ghanaian election finished up, trust me, watch the people country. For the next 6 years, there will be politics in the country, but it will not reach a stage where the people have to tear down their own country and decide to have two speakers in one country. The people will not do that. You do not have heated political situation in Liberia. Go to Nigeria and see the way politics is being preached. With all of the way politics is so nasty and dirty in Nigeria, there will come no time where Nigeria will have two speakers. As dirty as Nigeria's politics can be, there will be no way they will have two speakers. Not possible. It's not possible. So we all need to continue on the path of saying to the country and its people, if Liberians can wake up one morning, I will support that cause. And I'm telling you today, with all my heart, as an individual, I will support a cause where Liberians rise up and walk to the legislature and shut the legislature down. Shutting the legislature down will send a shock waves. It will send a signal that no more is, no more that we Liberians are sitting and looking at you doing the wrong thing and we are sitting and clapping our hands. State security and lawmakers, they are into fist fight. The lawmaker is wounded and lying in hospital. And at the end of the day, we say, Liberians will not get prouder of their country if we do not do the right thing. That's why some people, when they go abroad, they sometimes can just decide that they don't identify with the country, because when you're out there, Yeah, those of our brothers and sisters in the United States, sometimes they can just sit and say, the country there, we just from there, but it's just hard to talk. And after all that you're doing, the Liberian people are suffering. No jobs, no companies are coming in. But which country, which investor in the world will have his money in bank and hear that Liberia got 2 speakers and still take money in bank and bring it to Liberia to invest? No country, no investor anywhere will want to do that. Because the medicine that kills an investor's or sickness is a country with rule of law. If that country is seeking the rule of law, the investor will come to the country and invest. But if the country is so concerned about breaking her own laws, they never afraid. They say, oh, but the country can break their own laws now. That means I can go to the country and go put my money there. So at the end of the day, my money lost. Or somebody steal my money, I will not be able to get it back. And you are sitting as Liberians. The real bread and butter issue is that there is no job in the country. Things prices are skyrocketing, and every day there are imposed hardship and poverty, and the people are living in destitution. That is why our country, we need to unite and have a peaceful march at the Capitol building and shut the Capitol down. Let the lawmakers go home until they can settle their matter. They will not come there. We can tell you for free, go up and down. The problem is still persisting a day. The high will be. The next man will feel agree if you go to the court. Where are we? Where are we as a country? Where are we as a country? Where are we? There is a total breakdown of law and order in Liberia. I'm being honest with you on this. There's a total breakdown of law and order. Representatives that are supposed to be making laws are breaking the laws. The justice minister goes to a press conference and decides to interpret the law. When he does not have that power, that is usurpation of function. The only branch that is responsible for interpreting the law in the country that the judicial branch of the government. They interpret the law. Is the justice minister part of the judicial branch because he's justice minister? No, he is not a part of the judicial branch. He's not part of the judiciary. He is part of the executive that enforces the law. It is in the laps of the executive to enforce the law. It is not for them to interpret. So the minister of justice is in error. To have gone to a press conference and say the interpretation of the whole thing is that I interpret that the majority bloc when they won the case. So going forward, the government of Liberia will do business with the majority bloc. That was completely out of order. That's completely out of order. I told you, if you did not understand the ruling of the Supreme Court, you can file in a bill of information like Councillor Gonglo have done. Councillor Tiawon Gonglo have filed in a writ, or they file in some basic law, information at the Supreme Court to ask and ascertain for them to make simple the ruling of the court. I expect that the justice minister will be asking the court and say, yes, I'm a lawyer, but what I've heard, and with the different analysis that I've heard, different people making different analysis, the other group say they want, the other group say they want, can you please help us interpret further your ruling? The Supreme Court will be obliged to do that. Instead, The justice minister is joining. And that is why it is late for the president to now probe into the matter when it have reached crisis level. It have reached to where international news are carrying our legislature in combat with the police. It have reached where the police is in combat with lawmakers. Because they were giving orders. And I stand here, or I sit here today to say to you, I am for no group that is in the dispute. I am not for the COFA group, neither am I for the majority bloc. I stand here as a free man and as a journalist analyzing what is happening to the country. And I will repeat this because I want people to understand that it is not in the purview of the justice minister to interpret the law or the Supreme Court ruling. None of his work. His work is to enforce the law. The executive branch enforces the law. The judicial branch interprets the law, explains the law. They tell you to what extent a particular case is. So anybody understand the Supreme Court ruling? In that case, I agree the ruling of the Supreme Court was ambiguous and needed to be further explained in simple terms. But if they tell you that everything you did, everything the legislature did was against its power to do it, then you come back and say one good win. It means that it is not a win-win situation. What I saw in that ruling, it is not a win-win situation for other groups. What was the ruling of the court? In all of what the court said there was certain decision that should have been taken by the legislature, and the legislature failed to take that decision. What is the decision? When it came to the issue of Article 49 or so, or 33, when it talks about the issue of the smaller number who from time to time call the other absentee members to come and have session, it said the legislature should have laid down procedures. They should have laid down procedures. From 1986 up to now, the legislature have not laid down the procedures on how they can call on the other people to come. That was one of the sticker issues that the Supreme Court said they could not lay down that procedure because it is not in their purview. It is not in their range as the Supreme Court to decide that. The legislature should go back and do the needful. So, I'm not a lawyer, but the way the lawyers are treating us in this country, they need to stop it. We're not lawyers. And when these kind of legal matters come up, we expect that the lawyers will come up and tell us clearly what they say. But the lawyers are hiding. When I gauge the view of a very good counselor that I know as a friend to me, he told me, my brother, I won't get involved into this Supreme Court ruling thing. Then why do we have counselors in the country? All the counselors, all the lawyers, everybody different. Because the lawyers themselves are political figures. Some are notable political figures in the country. Notable political figures. They are more concerned about what they will get than for the benefit of the country. Who does that to a country like Liberia? Who does that? And Liberians are sitting and watching these unprofessional things happening, and they're not waking up. It hurts. It hurts when hospitals do not have drugs. It hurts when the maternity ward of a particular hospital is disintegrated. It hurts when a woman is being taken to labor and she's passing because there is no drug, there is no medicine, there's no equipment. It hurts. Folks, it hurts when the children in schools, in government schools, cannot be able to have dignified learning environment. But you have lawmakers fighting and the government is there, the executive branch is there clapping your hands and say, your fight. Nobody will party or your fight is equal. No party. In this case, that is what the executive is doing. The executive is saying, your fight. No equal, no party. Your equal, no party. Should we reach that stage in our country history? It hurts when government schools are overwhelmed with common chairs issue, armchairs. I see kids going to school in my district, in District 17. They are throwing their white plastic chairs, armlet chairs. They are throwing it to school campuses. They are sitting to write. Their tithes have been made as a chair for them to write. Folks, it hurts when the Liberian people go to bed hungry and all you see is fight for power. It hurts that our country is sold in privilege and the people are living beyond destitution, but you see the lawmakers and government officials are living in opulence. They're living opulence lifestyle. And nothing is being talked about in the country. No, folks, if it doesn't hurt you, but it hurt me so much that I see my country going down and all I see is retrogression. I do not see progression. I do not see this country moving forward. All I see is the country is retrogressing. And while we are sitting here, we are getting reports that there are fire outbreaks. There is a fire outbreak in Rachel Kuhn's office. Are we serious in this country? Oh my God. Even if you do not want Rachel Kuhn as your speaker, should you go and let fire in your office? I understand that thing. Even if Rachel Kuhn should not be if you do not want Rachel Kuhn, should you go and put fire in your office? What is country turning into? Democracy has been crushed to the ground and all that is persisting is just for raising. Imagine if the speaker office, Rachel Kuhn, but I don't know whether he's the speaker, but I would say Representative Rachel Kuhn, until it is validated that he's speaker. But if you do not want him as your speaker either, should you put fire in your office? Now, you're not destroying Rachel Kuhn's office because Rachel Kuhn will not be, even if he's speaker, you'll not be speaker all the days of his life. You'll not be representative all the days of his life. There will be somebody who will come and occupy that office. It is state resources that are used to build that particular place. Country help us, like China, they help us to build additional annexes at that capital building. What you do is that you put fire there because you do not want a particular person. How are we serious in this country? How are we serious? I agree on Rachel Kuna, but should you put fire in your office? Because I'm hearing of a fire outbreak. Our news team they are on top of this. Our news team are on top of this. Fire outbreak. For what? You're not destroying Rachel Kuhn, you're destroying the country. You're not destroying Rachel Kuhn. You see, the country is intensely divided. The country is on the verge of collapse if we do not stand up as a people. You see why the need for standing up is very important? The need for standing up as Liberians. Besiege the capital. Besiege the capital. Liberians, besiege the capital. You must take matters in your hands, or else the country will deteriorate. The country will retrogress. You must take matters in your hands. You see why the call for Liberians to have a peaceful march up Capitol Hill, for this thing to subside, for this thing to be settled. It is reaching a crisis level. One day we woke up and we just say the Capitol building, the whole Capitol building on fire. Don't be shocked if you hear those news, because if people can be brave to go to their friend office and start putting fire there or whatever the fire. I mean, I'm just saying if it is natural, fine, but the natural disaster of fire can never occur until we are in this critical state of our country. Then we say that natural disaster. No, I want to know. Let the people investigate what put fire in Richard Kun's office. The fire can or any time, by the time the executive decide to recognize Richard Kun as the legitimate speaker, by the time the fire can. We got to be serious in this country. I mean, I'm sick. I'm sick of what is happening in our country. I'm really sick. And I'm telling you that I'm really sick. I'm really sick. We can take a few calls. We can take calls for 10 minutes. Our news is up next. 6 o'clock is our evening news, but our news team, they will be in very shortly. But before then, let's take a few interactions from you, the public. 0778 440964. 0778 440964 is the number you can call to be a part of the program. Inside Liberian Kia Radio 95.9. Let's hear your views. That gives your views on some of the issues that we are talking about here. And of course, we can only hope for our country to get better. 0778 440964. Again, 0778 440964 is an alternative number you can use. Let's hear your view on this matter. Some of the things we are talking about. Let's go to the lines and talk to this caller. Good evening. Yeah, good evening, Mama. Good evening, Masisi.
This is Martin here. Thank you for the show. If I've been following things today, I've followed everything that you said. And for PMB, it's very important to us. People must to take care of that. I always ready. I want to be better for every time I phone God mission.
Okay. You know, and you know we managed something that we'll go you phone before. We can still do it, Masisi. You know we can still do it.
Okay. So now why I read there? In the morning, I will be there.
Okay.
We have a bigger show in everyone.
Okay.
People are there for us. And so to the issue, my son, like yesterday, there are different people. When we look, we won't get to this. And don't get to this. And when we look, I won't get to them, my son. We tell them, you put that in over, and now we are going to do your go to your council. For yes, we listen to the young after this. And you ask the question. What about the answer? They say in the reference. No, it's not in the reference. I got the program. You just said it. I can't tell what's going on there. It's a red Bible. That's it. Your whole thing. The phone was last year. Oh, that means she was on step of one. That's very cheap ourselves. We don't want to come on. I've not seen that before. Even the editor holds it out. The one running was just twice here. They will never find out or any. Nothing is left on them. But to come to the power and say this, that, it was wrong. So think that's what they want. It will happen to you. I've not seen that before. In no country, it has to speak up. No country has to speak up. What goes in our country? And we will stand for a future. We will tell them for that they say it's not enough. What goes in our country? I'm going to make backward people. The best thing is went backward. Just to stand for ourselves. We're going to be a stand. That's it. We're going to find it now. We are not going to stand for ourselves.
Okay. 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 Thank you so much, Masisi. Let's take another person. This person is here. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Welcome to Care Radio 95.9 inside Liberia.
Yes. But what we are experiencing now is that Liberia is taking another trend. And the trend that we are taking, it is not helpful for us as civilized nation and people who possess to be more active. And what I've seen future trouble. I've seen future trouble for the country. It is ridiculous. It is unprecedented for the president, the certain person, to call a speaker, the constituted speaker, to be removed. In that instant, what has been happening now is a clear picture that the government is highly aware of what's good. So what I want to say right now is that we have the judge of the authority is the people, Article 1 of the Constitution. The power that be is inherited in the people. Now, as the people now need to stay, all of the various constituents that there are the nation or representative are in the triumph of the law. These people need to rise against the representative and come on to the capital hearing. That what needed to be done now. It's not about anybody breaking the law, talking about political disputes and other stuff. We need the action of people. And that's what I have to say. Thank you for affording me this time.
Thank you so much for being a part of the program. Let's take more of your calls. 0778 440964 is the number you can call. It is an alternative number, but you can call that number. Let's talk some of the issues that are very pertinent to the growth of Liberia. 0778 440964. Again, 0778 440964 are the numbers. Those are the numbers you can call to be a part of the program. Inside Liberia on Care Radio 95.9, we've talked a range of issues, and we want to gauge your views on some of the issues that we've spoken about. Where is our country headed? Where is our country headed? We are in a state of dilemma. Our country is at a crossroad. All we see is anarchy. What we see ahead of us is a country without a direction. We are hoping that we can suffice all of these negativism, and we can have a time when our country can forge ahead. Having two speakers in a country, it is only a banana republic that can have two speakers. Not in a democratically seated country like Liberia, where we strive, our democratic credentials has been lifted. We've done a lot of great things. For us to allow ourselves to be carried away by these petty politics that is tending to drive our country and demoralize the country and shatters our country into pieces. We can't continue like this. 0778 440964 is the number you can call to be a part of the program. Again, 0778 440964 is the number you can call as an alternative number. Just call it, and you can actually put forth your views on the show. And all of the things that we've talked about, ranging from the Care Humanitarian Foundation to the political issues that we've talked about, you can be a part, talk about it, and let's see as to whether we can continue to air our voices. That is what this station was meant for. Let's take this person. Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah, this is Emerson Keepis, and I call the district gate.
Let's hear you, my brother.
Yeah, my brother, what happened up the capital thing is the first time in my life to see such thing happening in a democratic or nation where we have two speakers.
We lost you along the way. Probably your network is bad. Maybe you ran out of credits. Maybe your call was harmonized. Maybe your call was harmonized, but you can still call us back 0778 440964. Maybe we can take one or two more callers quickly. 6 p.m. is our news. Our news team are already preparing. They will be on my back shortly. But we can do all we can to fill in the space of 2-3 minutes. 0778 440964 is the number you can call to be a part of the program. Inside Liberia, Care Radio 95.9. My name is Morris Desmond, but of course I'm your usual companion from 4 to 6 o'clock Monday to Friday, right on this radio, Care Radio. And of course, we can only continue to talk about our country and the way it should. But again, folks, if we can, Sunday we can call it a day so that tomorrow we can save more energy to be back and talk about the issues that really do matter to our country. Until then, I love you that keep the peace of our country. Tomorrow, same time, 4 p.m., we'll be here and we will definitely do the people's work. Until then, I love you all. I keep the peace of Liberia. Bye-bye.